Good evening. The Scottish Conservatives have called for the Justice Secretary to resign. It comes after emails obtained through Freedom of Information by a newspaper revealed an aide to the Justice Secretary suggested Scotland's police watchdog delay publishing a report. The Scottish Government said it was an email exchange between officials and there was no involvement of ministers. Katie Hunter reports.
This is a Sunday morning splash Justice Secretary Michael Matheson could do without. The story relates to emails about a damning report written by the police watchdog PIRC about the Scottish Police Authority. In November, a senior aide to Mr Matheson, Don McGilvery, emailed the head of PIRC, Kate Frame. He appears to suggest delaying the report's publication until the CC issue has moved on a bit. The CC issue refers to this man, Police Scotland's Chief Constable Phil Gormley, who's on special leave while complaints against him are investigated. Kate Frame replied saying she would push ahead with the report's publication, adding, "My perception of your remarks is of governmental interference with my independence." The suggestion of interference has led to the Scottish Conservatives to call for the Justice Secretary's resignation.
These are absolutely extraordinary revelations. What they show is that government interference in supposedly independent bodies trying to do an independent job is endemic throughout the system.
The Scottish Government says it had no knowledge about the report's contents at the time of the email and points out it wasn't written by the Justice Secretary. Michael Matheson's colleagues have come to his defence.
What's absolutely clear from the story in the Sunday Post and the statement made by the PIRC is that no incidents of government interference have taken place. Those are the PIRC's words rather than mine.
Interference or not, the Justice Secretary's opponents are circling. Katie Hunter, reporting Scotland.
The Prime Minister has intervened in the row over whether an independent Scotland would remain in the European Union. David Cameron told the Commons he was baffled that Alex Salmond was only now asking his law officers to give their view on the issue. For years, official documents have confidently claimed Scotland would stay in the EU. But the Scottish Government admitted yesterday these claims weren't based on specific legal advice. Our political correspondent Raymond Buchanan reports.
Damaging headlines for the First Minister. Alex Salmond's credibility is being called into question by opponents. They accuse him of misleading the public about whether an independent Scotland would remain in the EU.
We were told, I believe, by the First Minister in Scotland that he had legal advice about Scotland's place in the European Union in the event of independence. It turns out now they didn't have any legal advice at all, and I think what this shows is when you shine the spotlight on the case for separation that the SNP put, it completely falls apart.
For years, official Scottish Government documents have been clear. In 2007, Choosing Scotland's Future said an independent Scotland would continue in the European Union. 2009 saw Your Scotland, Your Voice. It stated an independent Scotland would continue membership of the European Union. And earlier this year, Your Scotland, Your Referendum said, under independence, Scotland would have the rights and responsibilities of a normal sovereign state and continue its membership in the European Union. We now know there was no specific legal advice from law officers to back those statements up. As the Prime Minister was speaking at Westminster, SNP MSPs were gathering at Holyrood. Yesterday's resignations over NATO meant there were 2 fewer than before.
No, we just move on, programme for government, dust ourselves down and continue.
As they emerged, I put David Cameron's claims to the Deputy First Minister.
Mr. Sturgeon, the Prime Minister has intervened to say you haven't done your homework, essentially. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't think the Prime Minister's in much position to criticise anybody else. We've just had a fantastic meeting there. We look forward over the next couple of years to putting forward the positive case for independence. We're very confident of winning a yes vote in 2014.
But to win that referendum, the Scottish Government will have to show they are credible in a whole series of areas, including Europe. Their opponents believe this is a weak spot and they're determined to exploit it. Tonight, Labour accusing Alex Salmond of an abuse of power. The Conservatives suggesting Scotland's top law officer, the Lord Advocate, should be summoned before MSPs. Be in no doubt, this row will rumble on. Raymond Buchanan, reporting Scotland, Holyrood.